My body, all the parts of my body, stayed nonchalantly relaxed, evidently unaware that I had one of the hottest women in America in my embrace. I gave a soft nip to Juliet's bottom lip and felt her soften in my arms, and there it was. That did it. Not a rocketing surge of excitement, but at least I had confirmation that I wasn't actually dead. And I guess that was something I already knew about myself. For me, it was usually less about what I wanted and more about making someone else happy, not just in sex, in life. But when a woman showed me I was making her happy, that was the holy grail for me. Still, Juliet might have made me believe I was having an effect on her, but she was also one hell of an actress. And it didn't matter what I believed. What mattered was what this rabid crowd of paparazzi thought. "One more for the cameras," someone called as we broke apart. Juliet stood on her tiptoes to nuzzle against my ear as the crowd hooted. "You're doing great," she murmured. "There hasn't been a single question about my divorce. Grab my boob." "Grab your—" Shock pumped through me. She tilted her head back and pressed harder into me, and instinct led me to plant a lingering kiss on the column of her throat as my hand found her breast through the thin sweater she wore. She lifted her head to meet my mouth again, as my thumb brushed across the upright pebble of her nipple, flashes lighting the stale airport air around us. If this didn't convince the cameras, reporters, and random tourists we were a hot new item for them to examine, inspect, and tear apart, then nothing would. This was some of the best acting of my career. A little part of me wished I did have a thing for Juliet, though if I were actually hoping for an actual relationship, I might be more upset by the ironclad terms of the contract I'd signed with her, stating that this entanglement would extend only through the duration of this weekend getaway with the potential for a short extension on the other side as deemed necessary by Juliet's people. Finally, she stepped back and smiled at me, and I got an up-close demonstration of why Juliet Manchester was considered America's hottest young actress. She was good. Her face was flushed, and those green eyes sparkled as she shot me a look that could have been read by others to mean we'd shared secrets and whispers, late-night trysts and early-morning snuggles. If I'd seen only the look, I'd almost have believed she was interested in me, except I was the one she'd been kissing, and I knew better. "We've got a plane to catch," she called to the crowd, pulling me along next to the two burly security guards whose job it was to see us get to the plane and beyond. We pressed through the crowd and checked in. Once we were at the gate, I looked at her as she looped her arm through mine. "I thought the whole point of taking the late flight was to avoid the cameras. You tipped them off, didn't you?" "My agent did," she confirmed. "You're doing great." She leaned her head into my shoulder and then looked up at me again. "That grope will be all over the internet by the time we land. We just need to keep it convincing through the next couple of days, and we're both golden." Golden. Right. So why did this all feel so wrong?
Chapter 2. Tess. "How was the movie, my love?" Gran swiveled her head to greet me as I came in and dropped my keys into the bowl on the table next to the door. I crossed the room, planted a kiss on her cheek, and slid into the chair across from hers with a sigh. "Juliet's famous for a reason," I shrugged. I'd never get used to watching my big sister on the theater screen, but there was no question her star had risen and was continuing its meteoric upswing. The movie was cute and sappy and a little bit predictable, but it was good. Gran made a face, her nose wrinkling and her brows lowering behind her round glasses. "Sounds about right." I wasn't about to tell Gran about the other video I'd seen Juliet in tonight, the one where Ryan McDonnell was groping her breast in the airport. Gran was no prude, the opposite, really. Letting Gran in on that little nugget would only lead to her demanding I pull up the clip and play it for her, and then we'd be analyzing it, Gran critiquing Ryan's kissing prowess and speculating about his abilities in other areas. I wasn't up for it tonight. Personally, I thought it was a little much, especially considering my sister's divorce wasn't yet final, and because Ryan McDonnell was my all-time movie star crush.